How has stem cell therapy improved your life?
Quite a while back, I had a friend, an acquaintance, that needed surgery on his shoulder. And it was unquestionable that he was going to need surgery. And he was advised to get stem cell therapy, and if it worked for him, it would have been great. And if it didn't, well, he's going to have the surgery anyway. And miraculously, it worked. He didn't get surgery, and he ended up living his life after that. And so that was the marker for me. It's like, okay, it's time for me to look into it, because my back and my neck were my chief complaints. And, I like to be an active guy, and there was times where I wouldn't quit being an active person, exercising, but I also would pay the price for that. And it was days where I couldn't walk, having to treat myself, and it was just part of the grind that made me happy. And working out made me happy, and then of course, even the process of treatment was always challenging. So I looked forward to it, and of course, finally, when I was introduced in a positive light, the stem cells were working. I looked it up, but because of FDA regulations, I knew it from work. The FDA restricted what was possible through their research and even the products that were available in the United States. I always knew that I had to go either overseas or anywhere else here in the Western Hemisphere. And so I was lucky enough to find ViviStem, and when I did, it completely changed my life.
Can you tell us your story about ViviStem and you getting introduced to them and going and getting that treatment?
You bet. When I first contacted ViviStem, they talked me through the process. They were compassionate about my condition, and they fully understood, because they had seen many patients just like me, middle-aged, in their 50s. And of course, when I was picked up there, taken over right here quickly across the border, it was a quick experience for us. It was an IV that I received of stem cells, and of course I felt great afterwards. And of course, I was lucky enough to be able to get back to my home, and for the next 6 weeks, I definitely felt a difference. And I would have to say the mental acuity was the first thing that took place. And then after that, my back started feeling good. And it was one of those too good to be true stories, because it felt like a magic wand. And it was distrustful, because for so many years I would fear putting my socks on in the morning. And I soon learned that I could actually maybe lift up a chair in the morning before my body's warmed up, and I still didn't trust it. And it took many months for me to do things that I knew I couldn't done for decades. All of a sudden, because of one dose of stem cells, now you're able to do it. And like I said, it was distrustful, but man, such a delight that I was able to gain some youth back and some function. And for something for so long that I thought I was going to have surgery on my back and my neck, to this day, just continues to get better and better.
What were some unintended benefits from your stem cell treatment?
Some of the unintended benefits that I had from stem cells were also a delight. And I knew that before my surgery, I'll get, small pressures in my heart, and that was kind of expected. But unfortunately, after the surgery, with my mechanical valve and my prosthetic aorta, they continued a little bit. So I was always worried about that. And of course, I mentioned it to the doctors when I had visits, and they said, "No, Rick, everything's fine. Everything sounds great." But after my stem cells, my coronary function distinctly got better, because those pains went away. Those little aches and pressures were gone. And along with that, I was able to sleep on my left side, which I hadn't for at least 15 years. And not sure what exactly that fixed and remedied, but I was happy that it did, and I could definitely owe it to stem cell and ViviStem.
What would you tell people that are hesitant on getting the treatment? And what would you tell them specifically about ViviStem?
I would tell somebody to definitely do their own research. That's the first thing I say. Do your own research, talk to people, go online. There's a galaxy of information out there. And please understand that there is a difference between what's offered in the United States and what is offered abroad. There is no downside to taking stem cells. From the little bit that research that I've done is that, maybe you shouldn't have cancer, but otherwise it didn't make me feel bad, and I can imagine that, all the clinics out there have, top-notch labs where the stem cells are originated and cultured. And the experience I had at ViviStem was top-notch. It was luxurious from the time I arrived, to the time I left. And even the follow-ups, everything was very meticulously sought out, and I'm happy I was able to be a patient of ViviStem.